We live, we live, we live. Pre recorded for you. You're tuning in later on. Welcome back to the Hospitality Hacks Pro show, where we talk about things, topics, and talk to interesting people in and around the culinary arts and hospitality industry. Okay, like what's hot, what's not, what are some tips, tricks, and tidbits, hacks, if you will, to get you through and help you operate your food and beverage business. My name is Tasha Jackson, your host, restaurant consultant, teacher, daughter, sister, friend, all the things. All right, welcome back. Glad to have y'all here. Today, I'm really, I don't know if this is going to be a continuing thing, but I really would just like to dive into some of the key elements from the book, Above Average Service. Okay, so y'all hear me talk about it a lot. If you're listeners of the show, the 10 keys to unlock repeat guests and increase sales for your restaurant, specifically focused on full service restaurants. And you know what I'm gonna do with this one? I'm gonna I'm gonna bend this guy. Y'all see the books behind me, right? When they get really good, when I'm reading a book, I'm marking it up. I've got highlighters. I've got um I've got highlighters, I've got pens. I'm marking it up. I'm writing notes. I'm capturing what I'm thinking about as I'm reading, as well as highlighting things to come back to later. That's how I read. And so it's not the same if you don't have a couple creases on the pages. Now, I also listen to audiobooks. I also listen to podcasts, but it's something about like holding a physical book in your hand. And I don't know if that's something that's going to go away with our generation or not, but as we become more technologically advanced and dependent upon um, the internet and AI and all of that stuff, but I like the feeling. Like I like holding something in my hand, but I don't know if this is going to be a continuing series where we talk about the book, but just felt like busting it open and pause. Just felt like opening the book and going over some of the topics in here. All right, so this may be a continuing thing. I don't know. Y'all let me know if there's something you want to do, but I'm literally just opening it up to the first chapter. This is co-authored by myself and my sister and business partner, Cedrine. And key one, let's just start at the beginning. Let's just begin at the beginning. And you know something about beginning, you want to begin with the end in mind, right? So the end result is increased sales, repeat guests, right? Money to the bottom line. But you can't just jump there. There's some things that have to happen as we go along to get us there, right? And so, key one, create a positive training environment. Create positive training. Guys, listen, as operators, as owners, sometimes it's certain things we don't want to talk about. It's certain things we don't want to feel. It's certain things that are not the sexy part of the business. And training is one of those things. Like we want to think about the food and we want to think about food cost and making our guests or customers happy and getting them in the door. We want to cash those checks, right? But the way to get there is to train your team, right? And there's a way to train. I prefer, I personally prefer, and it's a personal preference, a positive training environment. Some chefs, some owners, some operators do not. Some operators prefer to throw pots and pans and jump up and down and yell and scream and curse at their people and tell them they're not worth anything and berate people. I just don't feel like I just don't feel like that's the way. How do they say you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, right? Why we're trying to catch flies, I don't know, but y'all know, you get it. You get it, right? So we start off the book talking about the very first key is to create positive training. Speaking of the environment of training, training is an ongoing thing that happens day to day. A lot of times operators will bring people in, they're brand new, they take them through a week, 2 weeks, couple days, whatever of training, and then they're like, welcome to the team, you got it, hand them an apron, hand them some keys, hand them whatever, hand them the tongs, whatever, like, you're trained now, go. Training is an ongoing adventure, an ongoing journey. It never stops. It should never stop. Okay, it should never stop. So as a restaurant operator, everything starts with you. I'm literally reading from the book right now, guys, page 7. In order to be successful in training, your team has to understand and be open to coaching. I'll take somebody that's coachable all day long over somebody who thinks they know everything that's highly skilled. I'd rather take the coachable person because we can learn and grow together. I can mold you. If something happens and we need to tweak something, we need to pivot, you're open. I can tell you, hey, listen, tried this last week. That special didn't work. We're going to switch to a different special or feature, or we're doing this, we're doing that. And they're going to flow with you. That person who thinks they have it all, it's hard. It's tough. Okay. It is up to you as the operator to develop an environment conducive to learning and growing. The best way to do that is to have continuous, ongoing training opportunities in a variety of settings. Another key thing, variety of settings. Okay. Everybody does not learn the same. We tend to be self centered as humans. We feel that our way is the only way. It's our way or the highway. If you're a visual learner and you like to see things happening in real time and that's how you absorb information, you're going to probably have that as your default when you snap into teacher or training mode, is to be visual. But some people are not visual learners. Some people need to hear it. Okay. Some people need to maybe read something that outlines it step by step by step. Okay. Some people need to actually physically do it. Okay. So there's different learning styles, and you have to be able to teach to all of those learning styles as an operator. Not just yours, not just your preferred learning style. Okay. So there's different ways you can do this. All right. We can do this through follow shifts, pre-shift meetings, on the spot coaching, one-on-ones, and team meetings work well in most food and beverage settings. Let's talk follow shifts. Okay, so a follow shift is exactly what it sounds like. You have your new team member, might not be a new team member. It might be somebody who just needs some retraining, recoaching, needs to be trained up. You may have heard me say before, we got the A, B, and C players, right? Anything below C, you got to go. Okay, but your A players is going to be your high achievers, your people who excel. They're the best of the best, cream of the crop. Your B players, they're okay. They're not the best of the best, but they're definitely not the worst of the worst. They'll step up when needed or when asked, but probably not on their own. Like the A player, if they see a need, they're likely going to step up without someone even asking them to. C player, average, right? Get the job done. Yeah, as my dad used to say, wouldn't write home about them. Right? Nothing spectacular, but they're not horrible. I'm not gonna fire them. They get the job done. I'd rather have them there than not have them there. Okay. Anything below that though, got to go. Now your C players, some of those C players can be coached up to a B, maybe coached up to an A. Okay. Put some time in, put some work in. Some of those B players may be able to be coached up to an A. Some of those A players, you might be able to coach them up, give them the skills necessary to replace some of your duties and give you a couple extra days off. Hello. Right? Teach them how to do some inventory, teach them how to do some scheduling, teach them how to be a supervisor when you're not there and help run the shift. Right? So now this is not all of them. Some people, they're just in the pocket. They're where they are. They're not ever going to be, maybe that C player is never going to be a B player. They're never going to be an A player. It just is what it is. But You have to be able to identify that, right? But let's say, you do have a C player who wants more. Maybe they're talking, "Hey, I need a raise." Or maybe they're talking a good talk about being moving up in the ranks and learning more and doing more and wanting to take on more responsibility. You should set them up with a follow shift. All right. Maybe put that C player with an A player and let them follow them, learn from them, ask questions, absorb some of the A nature through osmosis. Right. Okay. So it may not be a brand new team member. I think sometimes we neglect the people who are right in front of us. All right. And we're like, they're just average, they're doing a job, they just come, they get the check, la 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 la. Right. But take a closer look. Take a closer look and see who's coachable, who's hungry, who's ready to move around, who's ready to grow, who's ready to move up. Right. What motivates them? Right. We talk about that later on in the chapter, but follow shifts either put the new team member and or the team member who's looking to grow, all right, with a more experienced team member, let them follow them around for a couple hours. Okay? That's the follow shift, right? And that person, here's the caveat with that though. A players are A players for a reason. They're probably on the move. They're doing their thing, right? Just because you do a job well does not mean that you are a good teacher. Say that one more time. Just because you do a job well does not mean that you're a good teacher. So be selective with the A players and the B players that you pick to be able to lead those follow shifts for the new people or people you're looking to groom to move up. They have to have a certain level of patience. They have to feel good about sharing knowledge with others. Okay. And at least have some sort of desire. Now, even if it's a fabricated desire, like, hey, I'll buy you dinner if if you can do a follow shift for me. Okay. Now, if you didn't mention buying them dinner, they may not have been jumping up and down. But oh yeah, okay, I'll take a dinner. Right. I'll grab you a 6-pack if la 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 la. Right. So there may have to be some other motivation because that person's going to make their money and do their thing and rock how they rock with or without the person following them. Some people crave that type of attention, like, oh, yeah, I'm a trainer. And some people don't. It's like, let me make my money. I'm good doing my thing. Right. So you may have to dangle something. Just be prepared for that. All right. So follow shifts, great way to have that ongoing training happening. Okay. Another way is the pre-shift meeting. The pre-shift meeting is slept on. Pre-shift meeting is super, super, super key, super important. Boy, let me tell you something. When you are getting ready to get your team amped up for a shift, right? Lunch shift, dinner shift, whatever, breakfast, whatever. To gather everyone together, give them a word of encouragement, pat some folks on the back, give some accolades, a couple prizes, ask some questions, um, training questions. It could be about how many ounces of asparagus go on a side of asparagus. Whoever gets the closest. One thing I used to do is like we used to I would pull out a scale when I was running a kitchen in Atlanta. I would pull out a scale, and when I would have my pre-shift meeting for the kitchen team, I would say whoever gets the closest, right? Just eyeballing it, a side order of broccoli, a side order of asparagus, right? Grab some what you think is the appropriate amount, what you would serve a guest, put it on a scale. Whoever gets the closest, I got a special prize for you, right? We weren't weighing it every single time on the line. They're just grabbing it, right? So that practice of weighing it, they can see and make the connection. Oh, I'm over by an ounce. Oh, I'm over by 2 ounces. Oh, I'm under half an ounce, right? And then they can make that visual connection of what they're physically grabbing to what the standard should be, right? Now I'm dangling a carrot of a prize, sure, but in the midst of that activity, something is going on there, right? They're able to see, all right, I'm over, I'm under, I'm right on the money, right? And if you can adjust, and if you do that every day for a week with everybody who's touching that broccoli, everybody who's touching that asparagus, let's say that's your highest food cost area that you can improve upon, right? Like maybe you're losing the most money in that area. If you just get laser focused and figure out a way to, okay, let's everybody put their attention on these one or two items, right? For a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever, however long you need to drill down on the problem, you'll see your food costs improve, right? Because they're making that connection of, oh man, I'm constantly, if the same person is over every pre-shift meeting, an ounce, 2 ounces. Now, even if they don't get it, you've identified your problem. Now you can pull that person to the side one-on-one and say, hey, Joey, I noticed every time we do this exercise, you 2 ounces over, man. What can we do? Okay. Maybe when it's his shift, y'all might need to pre-portion the broccoli or the asparagus. Go ahead, get you some portion bags, portion it out. Let Joey do it. Let Joey grab the scale, grab the portion bags, and portion out 50 portions of broccoli. Eventually, eventually he's gonna get it, right? Eventually it's gonna be like, this is what 4 ounces looks like. This is what it feels like in my hand. This is what it looks like on the plate. And then if he doesn't get it after a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long you want to give him, that's up to you. Right? Then it might be a conversation of, is this the best position for him? There's a disconnect somewhere, right? I've told him, I've shown him, we've done these exercises, we've pre-portioned, right? We're doing all these things so that he can see it, feel it, hear it, hitting all the learning styles, still not getting it. Now we need to make an adjustment, right? Now we need to make an adjustment. So listen, I'm gonna stop right there. It's a lot in this book, y'all. That was literally just the first little paragraph of the first chapter. But I think we're gonna keep this going. Maybe once a month or so, just break down some pieces of the book. But follow shifts, super key. Pre-shift meetings, super key. I didn't even get into the on-the-spot coaching one-on-ones and the team meetings, but let me talk about them real quick. On-the-spot coaching, when you see something, say something, right? So if somebody's doing something, let's use Joey because we've been picking on Joey already, right? So if you see Joey grab the broccoli, right, put it on a plate and it looks heavy, say something in that moment. Now, I'm not saying jump up on the counter and jump up and down and yell and scream. Okay. Not my particular style of coaching. Right. But pause, right? Grab them. Hey, Joey, check that real quick before we send that out. I just want to make sure we're on point with the weight. Right. Or grab them and say, hey, on the next steak that goes out, I want you to weigh the broccoli before you put it on the plate. Right? Maybe have a scale just for him right there. That's on the spot coaching. You identify an issue, you say something right away. Your front of the house staff, right? Going up to the table, maybe they're not doing the greet, they're not introducing themselves, they're just walking up and saying, hey, can I get you something to drink? Right? That's not the way we should be greeting the table. Pull them to the side. Hey, I just heard you greet on table 12. I just want to make sure, is everything good with you tonight? Because you didn't seem super engaged. You didn't introduce yourself. You didn't say your name. Is everything good? Right? Give them a chance to respond. Right? They know you're looking. They know you're listening. That behavior should be corrected on the next greet. And then if it's not, then you take it to the next level, right? Now it might be time for some discipline conversation. Okay, that's on the spot coaching. Say something right then. One-on-ones. All right, that would be the next level of progression for me. If I'm doing on the spot coaching, if I'm doing my pre-shift meetings, if I'm doing my follow shifts, and then somebody's still not getting something for some reason, now we need to sit down eyeball to eyeball and let's talk about it. One-on-one or two-on-one, right? A manager and a supervisor and the team member, or two managers and the team member, or a certified trainer and the supervisor, a certified trainer and the manager and the team member. Let's have a conversation. Okay, what's going on? Why are you not upholding our standard? Okay, that lets your team know that this is serious. I'm not just asking you to do something for giggles, right? We uphold a specific standard for a reason, and you convey that nicely, smooth tone, no throwing of the pans, No throwing of the knives, right? Conversation, one-on-one coaching. Okay. Super, super key. And do it regularly with everybody. Don't just pick on the people that you don't like. Don't just pick on the, like a certain handful of people. No. This is what we do when there's an issue continuously, right? This is our standard. Team should see you pulling people to the side continuously. It could be for good as well. Okay, for good as well, not just for negative things. All right. And then the team meetings, gather everybody. If you can't afford to pay everybody to come to a team meeting every month, do it at least once a quarter or so. Or every time you change the menu, if you have a seasonal menu, every time you change the menu, gather your team, right? It builds morale. All right. Very rarely is everybody in the same place at the same time. So it allows them a chance to bond, builds morale, maybe have a family meal, right? And then you're able to convey important messages and changes to your team, as well as any coaching things you've noticed, patterns, right? Perfect time to relay that, right? And what you don't want to do is if one or two people are not doing what they're supposed to do, come down on the entire team. Big no no. Okay, big no no. Use the one-on-ones for that. Maybe even the pre-shifts for that. All right, but not the entire team. Like, guys, everybody's messing up. I can't believe it. Right? Broccoli costs is through the roof. Okay, well, if you have a team of 20 people and you have a team meeting, 20 people are there and only 3 people ever touch broccoli, is it appropriate to address that in front of the 20? Probably not. Probably not. Right? So follow shifts, pre-shift meetings, on-the-spot coaching, one-on-ones, team meetings work well in most food and beverage settings. Y'all try it out. If you're not doing all of these, you're missing something. If you're not doing all of these, you're leaving money on the table. All right. We talking about unlocking, guys. This is the key, right? You looking for something manna from heaven to drop down from the sky. You're not doing the simple things. Right? You're not doing the one, two, threes, the ABCs, but you're trying to jump to Z. Okay. So get those repeat guests, increase those sales, start with creating a positive training environment. All right. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you for tuning in for another week of the Hospitality Hacks Pro Show. And I'll see y'all next week. I'm out of here.